11 races remain in the 2001 NASCAR Winston Cup Series as we are here at the Watkins Glen International for the Global Crossing at the Glen. I'm Jericho, along to me Trey Bardo. And Trey, if I remember correctly, last season, the winner of this race started on pole, led every single lap en route to victory by over 3 seconds, and won the championship that season. Does that sound familiar at all?
Who is that?
No, it's just some guy.
Oh, fair enough. Must have been a bozo.
It must have been. But, yeah, that was you that did it last season. So you know how to get around here at Watkins Glen as of late, obviously. Dominating this race last season. And perhaps maybe what you did last season, Chris Jericho trying to do this season, as he will start on pole in the 18 car. He's second in points by a wide margin entering this race. He needs to make up points on Brett Sierra, something that you had to do in this race last season on Keegan Thompson.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see what can happen here. It's definitely, Joe, the summer's not going the way he was hoping for now, is it?
No, it has not, just like it did last season. You know, I was watching back some footage from last season and had brought up during that race that he was on a streak of 2 or 3 races finishing outside the top 10, top 20, and then here at Watkins Glen, he was the only car to finish off the lead lap in 42nd place. So Jericho hoping it goes a little bit smoother this season at Watkins Glen. Some other drivers hoping it goes smooth, like Laura Chung, who starts second. She's been good at road courses so far this season. She's looking to get it done, that number 23. She starts on the front row. And also maybe Brett's here trying to gain some spots from 11th place on the starting grid. We'll see if the 25 can move up with his teammates, Keegan Thompson, Justin Liddell on the third row, Frederick Motorsports. So once again, all the Hendrick cars performing well. But there's a lot of stories to talk about, and obviously it's a long pace lap, so we'll get to those on the pace lap. We'll first talk about the weather here at Watkins Glen. It's another nice day for racing in the Winston Cup Series. Clear sunny skies here in Watkins Glen, New York. 83 degrees for the temperature, so not the hottest of the season, but definitely another scorcher for these drivers. But 7 miles an hour wind in the south direction could be something to watch out for during this race. So this track, located in Watkins Glen, New York, is 2.45 miles in length. We would say how many turns there are, but Trey, everyone I talk to has something different for how many turns this track has. No one knows how many it has. No one can agree.
I guess that's weird. You would think NASCAR just says this track has this many turns, but I guess they like to see the arguments. I mean, there's been plenty of them this year, so might as well add more to the table, huh?
Yeah, and I guess we'll talk about, why maybe some people differentiate from what NASCAR says later on, but in JRTV's book and in NASCAR's book, it's an 11-turn road course, so we'll just go with that. But there's some disagreements from some teams and drivers. The track opened in 1956, and the first race held here in 1986. In the past 5 winners here at Watkins Glen, it's been 5 different winners. Griffin Lynn in 1996, Eric Wilson in 1997, Paul Minnick in 1998, Cole Lewis in 1999, and you did it last season, Trey, in 2000. It's a short 18-lap event, but the field went on just around midway, 9 to 11 laps. So we'll see how that plays into it. If some drivers try and undercut, do it that way. If some drivers try and overcut to try and get some clean air, because clean air means so much at a road course like Watkins Glen. It's about time to get going here for the pace lap at Watkins Glen. Let's go to tracks that fire these cars up for 18 laps around this 2.45 mile road course in Watkins Glen, New York.
Drivers, start your engines!
So there you can see the 42 cars moving off the starting grid to start their very long pace lap around Watkins Glen, New York. And let's talk about a few drivers. Let's talk about the man starting in 4th place, Luke Rainey in the 88. He's quietly been a very consistent road course racer in the Winston Cup Series so far. Last season in this race, scored a top 5 finish for Penske Racing. In the last road course race at Road America, he scored a top 5 there. Now both the Robbie Yates cars start inside the top 4, in 3rd with Riley Spurgeon, 4th with Luke Rainey. By the way, both the Robbie Yates cars last season ran inside the top 10 here at Watkins Glen. So is it something about the team, the driver, or both for Luke Rainey and Robbie Yates racing at Watkins Glen?
I mean, it's got to be both, right? I think, like you said, last year they ran really good here as a team. So, I mean, it's definitely with the driver too, but, you can't really have good results if it's just the driver. You have to have both the driver and the car. So it seems like they got to dial it in for this track, and we'll have to see if they can battle it here for the win. And
another driver team combo that might be working well for these road courses. How about this number 43, Roberto Crown Jr.? Think back to last season in this race. Zach DeLello piloting that number 43. They had not had a great season up to that point. Very few bright spots on the season, but DeLello drove the car inside the top 10 all day long, ended up finishing inside the top 10 for Petty Enterprises, and once again, they come to Watkins Glen. It's number 43, but this time Roberto Crown Jr. behind the wheel, piloting that car inside the top 10 to start. So Trey, can we see a good day for this Petty Enterprises car at Roberto Crown Jr.?
I definitely looks like he had the speed with it in practice and qualifying. I mean, like you said, he's inside the top 10, so hopefully he'll go up, near the front here. But I mean, Joe, road coasters are, kind of like super speedways in a way, as we see teams up front that we don't normally see just because of how different it is compared to everything else.
Yeah, it's not necessarily all about equipment. As we enter into the bus stop here, Trey, this is where kind of the issues arise when it comes to talking about corner numbers, whatnot. So everyone up through the S's kind of agrees, how many turns there are up through there. But then you get to the bus stop, and some drivers and teams maybe count it as no turns at all, that it's just the bus stop, and it has that name for a reason, and that you don't count it as a turn number. Then you count the carousel's next turn. Or some teams don't say that there's as many turns as NASCAR says in the bus stops. That's where kind of all the confusion comes, Trey, is the bus stop.
I mean, it's a turn. You're turning the wheel, so I don't know where that argument comes from. But then, I mean, I don't know. I can see, you got that right-hander, so that's one. The left-hander, that's two. It's kind of a long left-hander, though. So, I mean, three corners in that altogether, and then going into the carousel. I mean, I can see that as an argument, but I don't know. I'll have to see what other teams are saying about their opinion, and then who knows? We might have to have a lengthy discussion about that.
Yeah, I think if there's a calmer lap here at Watkins Glen, we'll follow a driver, start counting corners, and see if we can find the solution to this problem finally. Because JRTV and NASCAR says 11. We get our data from NASCAR. They say it's an 11-turn road course. Some teams say 7. Some teams say 8. I mean, anywhere from 7 to 11, I've heard. I mean,
that's a big gap.
Yeah, so we'll have to see if we can figure out where maybe some of these numbers are coming from here at Watkins Glen. But at the front of the field, maybe not so concerned about how many corners there are, more concerned about the championship for Chris Jericho in the 18. He's had a dismal summer stretch. In fact, maybe even worse than his dismal summer stretch last season in the 18. Last season in this race, he finished 42nd, one lap down. He's hoping this season he might end it in victory lane from pole position. But he has some hungry drivers that are looking for their first ever wins, like Laura Chung, Luke Rainey, other drivers looking for the first win of the season, like Riley Spurgeon and Justin Zeidel. Right behind him, we'll see how it all plays out. For 18 laps, the global crossing at the Glen is underway. Green flag in the air.
Joe, I truly never liked those S's right there, especially going side by side. And I'm going to be honest with you, I think I even saw some 3-wide going through there.
Yeah, I think I saw Jamie Sammer Jr. peeking the nose out in the 71, but maybe thought better of it. As they go through the bus stop side by side, Tim Garrett not giving Laura Chung much room, but needs to complete this pass, because if not, the carousel could be really good for Chung. Right there, you see Tim had to get bogged down because of it. Laura Chung stayed on him. I think it was because Tim did not give Laura much room, and then Laura said, I'm not going to give you much room. And Chung gets away with Luke Rennie around the outside, Tim Garrett through the carousel. The front field get away. In fact, it's 3 cars to really break away. Jericho, Spurgeon, and Keegan Thompson. 4th place, Chung. 5th place, Luke. And then Tim in 6th. Zeidel is 7th. The battle for 8th is Roberto Crown Jr. and Jordan Stout going at it.
Yeah, I mean, this first lap and even half of the second lap is really crucial here, because it really, filters you out to where you're going to be for a little bit here. As you can see, these 3 are still battling for it. Luke Rainey's going to have the position, and hopefully there, Tim Gary might be able to dive it on the inside going into 1. But, I mean, like I said, for the first couple of laps, you're just kind of like jockeying for position. And then once you get all single filed out, then you can start to make your move up towards the front.
There you can see the front 3, how far of a gap they've got. Jericho, Spurley, Tim Thompson. Then Luke Rainey, Tim Gary 4th and 5th. The battle is on for 6th place. The 24 is Zeidel, the 23 of Laura Chung. Zeidel gaining some spots back after losing them on the initial start. Chung under fire now from Roberto Crown Jr. Stout, who are still battling side by side. Just behind that, just inside the top 10, Brett Sear on the 25 has passed Kukulon on the start to move his way inside the top 10. But there's a side-by-side battle in front of him between Stout and Crown. But it looks like Sear might move a spot further forward, going for 9th on the 43, but gets a little bit bogged down. Crown with the better exit off the carousel, and the 25 might lose that spot to the 43 will. Here comes Kukulon looking for the top 10 again.
Yeah, Kugelon had speed in practice, didn't he?
He did, yeah. In fact, all of RCR, once again, has brought some pretty good speed here to Watkins Glen. So I'm not surprised to see Kugelon performing this well in the start so far. Just got to 10th, and now Rando trying to get to 11th by Sierra with the 25. Better drive off the final corner.
You know, it really seems like once you get stuck on either the outside or the inside of one corner, you're not in a really good position for the following three. I mean, it's just kind of how it works out here, especially, you know, with the whole line of cars behind the guy trying to pass you there. You're kind of stuck there and hoping to find a spot sooner rather than later. But I mean, with some guys we've seen them lose 2 or 3 positions. Other ones we've only seen them lose 1. So it's almost like a 50-50 game whenever you're getting passed by someone.
Well, Sierra clears up to 10th, so 1 position gained at the start of the race. Here comes Corbett looking on Kukulon as they race down the back straightaway into the bus stop, one of the tighter parts of this racetrack. Corbett and Kukulon trying to make it work as they now exit the bus stop into the carousel, one of the more technical portions of the racetrack right here. Looks like Corbett trying to get around Kukulon the third with a power drive off the top of the carousel, getting a better drive off and pulls even with Corbett. The battle for 11th is extreme between these two, and right by them Stanworth and Atkins watch on. Brando, Fitzwater, and Jack Kosh trying to maybe get up here and get into a part of it as well, but they're still side by side for 11th, entering the final corner, what we'll call turn 11 here at Watkins Glen.
Some people think it's turn 8, so don't forget that.
Or turn 7.
or 9 or 10 or whatever number we're missing, Joe.
Well, here's a good battle for position. You had Tim Garrett, Justin Zidell for 5th and 6th. The battle right behind them for 7th and 8th. Stout and Chung. Gary and Zidell just in front of them. So a great battle right there. Still those 3 cars at the front have pulled away, but Spurtube is gaining on Chris Jericho at this moment as Stout moves around the number 23 Laura Chung. Roberto Carr Jr. looking for 8th place on Laura Chung. So Laura, after a really good starting spot in the 2nd position, has fallen all the way back to 9th place on the early laps.
Yeah, either she just did not have... Oh, we have a pass for the lead.
Yes, we do. Riley Spurtube trying to make it off of Chris Jericho. So last season, there was not a single lead change in this race. Jericho trying to keep it like that last season, trying to get the drive off the carousel on the outside, make it work. They race door to door down the short chute into the second to last corner. Jericho with the preferred lane into this one, and Keegan Thompson might have a shot for second here if the 28 can't complete the pass on the 18.
I thought Keegan was looking 3 wide going into that corner there. I think he peeked the nose, but then he goes, I think I'm just going to stick behind Jericho. But that's actually going to allow the 28 to get a run.
Yeah, Spurtube is by. The 28 now leads at Watkins Glen. New leader in the global crossing at the Glen. It's Riley Spurtube. Jericho back to second. Keegan did not have a shot for second right there. I thought that with maybe the 18 losing that spot, the 5 could follow through, but he couldn't do it. Now Jericho maintains at second, trying to keep touch with the front driver, Riley Spurtube. Thompson now in third. Luke Rainey gained a little bit because of that. He's in 4th. Tim Gary's up to 5th. Stout up to 6th. He got by Zidell is back to 7th. Roberto Carr Jr. now 8th. Laura Chung back to 9th. And Brett Sierra up inside the top 10 after starting in the 11th spot. So his championship rival, though, Chris Jericho, did just lose lead, but not let Spurtube get too far away as they enter the bus stop. 3 cars nose to tail at the front of the field.
These 3 cars look pretty dang even, Joe. I mean, I don't think one car has advantage over the other one. I mean, it's just been these 3 for the entire lead so far. And I mean, Luke Rainey is slowly catching there, but if I got to put my money on someone, it's one of these 3 at the moment.
Yeah, I have to think that maybe Jericho had a mistake out front that caused Spurtube to get by him, because you see, once Spurtube got by him, he hasn't pulled away. You would think if the 28 was that much faster than the 18, he would have gapped him already using the clean air. The fact he hasn't, Jericho's back and dirtier staying with them, just shows the 18 to 28 pretty equal. The 5 maybe just slightly worse, but still hanging decently close, but lost some time that lap as Luke Rainey basically maintains his distance to the front 3 as Jericho's still looking on Spurtube. Maybe messed up turn 1 a little bit right there, in too deep, loses ground to the 28. Now the 5 gaining back on the 18 as they enter into the S's.
Yeah, looks like he might have drove it in there a little bit too hard and then washed up the track, but we'll have to see if he can recover from that. I mean, if he can get back up to the 18, then we know he's got a strong car underneath him, but if he can't catch up to it, I mean, Keegan Thompson gets to him and then ends up passing. We'll have to see what Keegan has, but so far this 28, once it got out front, it looks like it's been pretty stable.
Yeah, Robert Yates Racing, they've had a pretty mediocre season with both their drivers so far, but both their cars currently running inside the top 4 with Spurtube leading and Luke Rainey back in 4th place. Spurtube has won before in the Winston Cup Series. He won the finale last season at Atlanta, dramatic last lap fashion in that one. He's looking to maybe win this one in a little bit less dramatic fashion, but still get the victory nonetheless. And Luke Rainey, just a few cars back in the 80, has never won in the Winston Cup Series. Maybe looking on some strategy at this point. Maybe today could be his day. He played some really good strategy last season in this race to get him up some positions. As Jericho misses the final corner, Keegan Thompson has shot for 2nd place down the main straightaway into turn 1. Keegan has the preferred lane off into the 1st corner and should get the 2nd spot easily.
He's gonna make the move to the inside, nice and easy here. Don't overdrive the corner, but the 18's gonna have a little bit of a run on the top just because he had a little bit more room on the exit there as they go up the S's here. Too wide. I always hated this, Joe. Like I said, I never felt comfortable doing it, but Keegan Thompson was able to make the pass during it.
So Keegan up to second place, trying to hunt down Riley Spiritu, but because of that battle, Spiritu got a decent gap over the 2 cars behind. Now Keegan the one in second, Jericho back to third. Battle is on for 5th place. Stout looking on Tim Gary for the top 5. They go side by side, some contact through the bus stop. See from that camera angle just how much contact there was. The 10 and the 6 still trying to fight, but Gary might lose his spot to Zidell here. Can the 24 get the run on the bottom of the carousel? Looks like Tim struggling for grip in that 10 car, fighting that car for all it's worth, and they stay door to door for that 6th spot, entering the second to last corner here, coming back to 11 laps to go at Watkins Glen, and these drivers probably being aggressive because they know pit stops and pit cycles are going to be looming just ahead.
Yeah, I don't know if Tim tried to outdrive the 6 into the bus stop, or if he just honestly lost grip with the tires there. That was a big slide by that 10.
Yes, it was, and now he's still feeling the effects of it. It's behind them. Sierra looking for another spot on Laura Chung. So that's the battle for 9th place. Chung from the front row back now to 10th. And Tim Gary might lose his spot to his good friend Brett Sierra, who's trying to look on that number 10. Gary gets down in line in front of Brett, who's trying to get in front of Laura Chung and Will. And Mitch Corbett breaking inside the top 10, that number 66. A great drive for Corbett for Haas Car Motorsports today, just showing that once again, road courses a lot more about driver talent rather than just equipment.
Yeah, I mean, you got to know how to drive these things, and we have some of our road course ringers, I guess as you can call them, in Ronald Kennington and then Zachary Fitzwater, as you can see the 2 right there. But yeah, I mean, road courses you'll be surprised who can show that they got their stuff there, and who doesn't. So I mean, that's why I always like them, because it's just a different variety of what we're not used to seeing.
Jamie Stewart Jr. now looking for a spot on Laura Chung. He qualified really well here today in that number 71 and looking to try and break further forward to get closer to the top 10, but so far no move on the 23 able to be made. So we're going to run complete the 8th lap. 10 laps to go this time by at Watkins Glen. So far, pretty clean race, but at the front of the field, still 3 cars under a blanket. But watch for that 4th place car, because Luke Ray has been the fastest of those 4 the last few laps, and he's closing in. And maybe an undercut on pit road could help him out that 88 to get the track position he needs. If he pits this time by, it could be the biggest strategy call of the day, because it could get him the race with how close he is to the front 3.
He is honestly in a great position to undercut it, and you definitely have to think that his crew chief is definitely debating whether he wants to do it or not. And I mean, if Luke Rainey still has his speed by the end of a run, why not do it, right? I mean, he's fast. Everyone else is going to be struggling by the end of the race as well. So you might as well give your driver some sort of advantage, and if he can get the gap he needs, he might be able to hold these guys off.
Yeah, it's great to see the Robert Yates cars run well here today at Watkins Glen, because once again, as mentioned, there's just been flashes of brilliance this season, but to see both their cars running strongly inside the top 5 here at Watkins Glen, that's big for them. Jericho missed the second to final corner and loses some ground to the front 2. Keegan all over the back of Spiritu. We'll see who pits this time by, who likes to stay out longer. So far, no one inside the top 4 coming in, as the pit window is open to make it from here at halfway, but so far, no one budging inside the top 15, even the top 20. So it looks like everyone's kind of minding their P's and Q's. There goes the 40 of Colin Teague, and so he'll be the first one, and so far the only one to come down pit lane.
He is actually the only car to come down pit lane.
Yeah, so
it's going to be very lonely.
He's on a contrarian strategy for sure, but that could work out for him, because you think about less drivers that pit that first time, the more that are probably going to pit this time, right? Pit road's probably going to be a busy place, because this is about the time when everyone came down last season in this race, when most of the drivers came in. So we'll have to see if it all plays out for Colin Teague, maybe gain some spots for that mid-pack, but we'll have to see, obviously if you're further back in the field, do you dare maybe stay out another lap, try and overcut, get the clean air for 1 lap so that you don't have to deal with the congestion on pit road?
I don't know. I mean, you definitely could, but I would worry about the time you're going to lose by doing that. You know what I mean? So it's kind of risk versus reward, I guess, is how you're going to look at it here. And if someone does end up doing it, we'll have to see where they were when they came in and then where they are going out.
Well, the front runners, I think, are coming in this time, and there they go. So Spiritu leads Keegan, Jericho, Luke, and everyone else. So this is the congestion I'm talking about, because look at how pit road just clogs up, and I think that's Conrad Evans who saw it and said, I'm staying out another lap. along with some others like Jordan Edwards. So this could be a big strategy call. Evans stays out, leads a lap, but these drivers mid-pack, right? They were going to be in a big mess entering pit road. So them doing this could be big for them. Evans, Edwards, and DeLello, along with Matt as well, and Ryan Wilson, Lathan Strickland, who did not have great qualifying runs, why not stay out? Because it could work out with how slow these drivers had to be entering pit road.
Especially with those guys, I mean, you honestly don't have that much to lose. So if it could put you on a different strategy to everyone else and it could honestly work out for you in the end, I mean, why not do it, right? I mean, if it doesn't work out, you know that for next season.
Laura Chung, one of the final few of the front runners into her pit stall. Spurley Tube and Keegan Thompson drop the jack at about the same time. They leave at about the same time, and they're going to, I think, gap the 18 and the 88. Jericho a little bit slower on pit road. Will lose some ground. Luke Rainey also slow. Jordan Stout gains some time in the 6. There's Roberto Grant Jr. leaving just in front of Brett Sierra, side by side between Tim Gary and Sebastian Kukulan leaving pit road. Watch for this on pit exit because it's a very tight pit exit, and they somehow made it work there side by side.
Yeah, that wall juts out, Joe.
Look at Colin Teague.
Wow.
Look at the ground he made up. He's battling Tim Gary right here.
We did say the undercut could work out, and it really did work out.
Yeah, so Colin Teague was nowhere near Tim Gary at the start of this race, not even when he pitted. But here he is side by side with him on warmer tires as well. So through the bus stop, this could be big for him to get by Tim into the bus stop. Warmer tires, makes contact, forces Tim wide, and Colin Teague gets his muscles out on Tim Gary to get the spot.
That was a little bit of a, hey, I want this spot, I'm going to take it type of move.
Yeah, I want it now is what he was saying. So everyone else came in. Conrad Evans led the field in along with Edwards and DeLello and them. We'll have to see where they come out. Obviously, the overcut might not be as strong as the undercut, but definitely with them running mid-pack, it works. I think if they were at the front, they tried the overcut, it wouldn't have worked as well. But them being back mid-pack should really work out for them.
Yeah, especially with how spread out those guys got. I mean, it was really only the 28 and the 5 that had a good stop, and everyone else was either a little slow or I don't know what happened, but they got really spread out there. So, I mean, look how many spots this 31 just gained.
Yeah, Evans was, I don't even think, inside the top 15. Now he's going to be inside the top 10 in this 31. So, you got to give a shout out to the driver and the crew right there, making that strategy call and making it work. He's left up with the 25 to 43, and now he might lose a spot here to Brett Sierra on this lap because he's on colder tires, but at the end of the race he'll have a lap or so fresher tires than the 25 and the 43 to try and get spots that way. And I think he knows, right, just save this stuff right now, try and get the tires up to temperature, and then I can maybe get those spots back at the end of this race.
I mean, you're right on the you got the nail on the head, however that saying goes, Joe.
Yeah,
you hit the nail on the head. There it is. I got it. Don't worry.
So he's still trying to get his tires up to temperature. Mitch Corbett looking on the 66. So the pit stops have cycled through, and it's given Riley Spurgeon the lead back in the 28. Keegan Thompson is in second in the 5. And then Jericho and the number 88 of Luke Rainey are decent ways back. So at the moment, unless Keegan can gain a second and a quarter over the number 28 Riley Spurtube, it's Spurtube's to lose. There you can see Conrad Evans jumped up to 9th place. And in front of his teammate Kukulan, Colin Teague jumped up to 11th. So really good gains for those drivers that did both the overcut and the undercut, and basically pitting around, the normal strategy didn't work out. Like Tim Gary's back now to 12th place, and you look back even further to some drivers that didn't, like Zeidel's back here in the 24, Laura Chung. Meanwhile, Mathis Wells and Zach DeLello moved up nicely. So, I mean, once again, those differing strategies, those contrarian strategies, they're the ones that work out, not the normal ones.
Yeah, so essentially just don't be like everyone else is what you're trying to say?
Yeah, try and spread the field out, but it's very hard when, obviously the pit window's so tight, you can't really run farther, and you can't pit sooner, or else you're not going to have the field to make it on one stop. So, I mean, that's just kind of the box these drivers are put in, the teams are put in, but it provides for some interesting strategies, and we're seeing it here. Some drivers that, were nowhere near the front, like Matt as well, as they're moving up and closer to the top 15, maybe even inside the top 15, so it's a really good run for Matt as well after his poor qualifying spot.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's not a top 10, I mean, moving up spots is moving up spots. And, I mean, that's, more power to you. And hopefully, I mean, if anything, like I said, you can learn for next season. I mean, you never know, what these teams take away and every little information they get. So we'll have to see how it works out for them.
Jacob Boyd, the twin one, is currently a lap car separating the 25 and the 43. So obviously there's an issue that they had to come back down pit road, and it's putting Boyd a lap down. So tough break for Boyd right here, who's had a dismal season for the Wood brothers after a pretty decent season, finishing inside the top 20 points last season for them. And so far he's been struggling this season. If we go back up to the front, there's a 3-car battle for third place between Jericho, Luke Rainey, and Jordan Stout. That's third, fourth, and fifth. Brett Sears up to 6th in the 25, and maybe not slowing down quite yet. He still could maybe get some spots if some issues happen in front of him. And once again, he's minimizing the loss to Chris Jericho. Jericho started 10 spots better than him, and as they run, he's only 3 spots better than him, and obviously not getting as many points as he would have liked to over Brett Sears. At the front, Keegan is slowly reeling in Riley Spurgeon. Last lap, 1.1 seconds. We'll see what it is this time by with 4 laps to go. How much did he gain? Does he have enough time? That time by gained a 10th as Hernandez back on pit road, and he's falling a lap down the 1 car.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see what. Hopefully, we get some information on what happened with the 1. But I mean, I don't know if at this pace right now, Keegan's gonna have enough laps. I honestly don't think he will have enough laps to catch the 28. So he's either gonna have to, try to find the 6th gear in that car, or a 5th gear, and then try to make up another second within 3 laps, which is gonna be a lot of driving.
Yes, it is, and but we know Keegan is a very talented race car driver. We'll see if he can pull it off as we have some downtime right now. Let's go do our McDonald's lunch chat right now before we get to the end of this race. The final 3 laps are upon us. Keegan Thompson trying to run down Riley Spurgeon and catch him and pass him. Last week at Pocono, we asked what should the length of Pocono races be in the future, because both are currently 500-mile races, and there were 4 options. Trey, I think you said keep it the same, keep it both 500 miles, but the winner of this poll, both should be 400-mile races. 38% said that.
Oh, well, there you go.
Caution!
Oh, no. What happened? Oh, jeez.
Diego Yepes in the 4. Brandon Beal.
No, our McDonald's chat.
Yeah, and he hometown driver as well. That's a tough break for him. But with 3 to go, I do believe this race is over. I don't think they're going to have enough laps. Zach DeLello. Oh, he's all torn up.
I wonder what... It looked like it came out of the bus stop then in the carousel, so maybe a misjudgment. But, Joe, I got to agree. I don't think we're going to get back to racing. Yeah, with just 3 laps to go, it's going to be hard to clean that up in time. That's a shame, because Keegan, that last lap, went from a second back to just under 8 tenths back. So he had gained over 2 tenths in that lap. I think he possibly had a shot at Riley Spurgeon if it stayed green. I mean, I guess from this point on, it's going to be what if.
Yeah, I think it is.
It's going to be hard to tell what would have happened.
Another what if for Keegan Thompson. Think back to the World 600, a what if there when it ended early. So another good run for him.
That's 2 races for him.
Yeah,
that's hard right there.
Yeah, at least though it's another good run for Keegan. A lot better than he's been doing the early part of the season. He's really picked it up the summer along with his team at Hendrick Motorsports in general. But to finish up the lunch chat here, since we got interrupted as Tim Gary's kind of offline in the town. I don't know if he has an issue there, but obviously both 400-mile races won last week. We mentioned that, so that's what the fans maybe want at Pocono there. But here we are to Watkins Glen, and obviously a racetrack used by racing series all throughout the world and the United States, and obviously we run the NASCAR layout, kind of the shorter layout. So the lunch chat here, should NASCAR try the longer style course at Watkins Glen that includes the boot in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I like that idea. I think we should do the boot. I mean, it's different and it adds just length to it. So I don't see why we wouldn't do it.
Yeah, not only length, but I think it also could possibly add a passing point down there at the tip of the boot.
Yeah, it would. So I mean, I don't think I never got to run it, and I never got the opportunity to run it, even like in testing sessions, but I always would have liked to run it, and I honestly do like the inclusion of the boot. So yeah, I totally think NASCAR should look into possibly allowing these drivers to do that.
Well, maybe if maybe as you can see the area to go onto the boot, maybe if they decide they want to test it out, maybe they'll ask you to come test one of their cars and try it out.
I would say yes, 100%.
But what's happening here with Tim Gary, Trey?
I don't know. It looks like they're leaving the spot for him, so I don't know if they're playing it safe or what's going on. I guess the car sounds fine. It doesn't sound like it's down a cylinder or anything, but it might be something else mechanical, because it definitely looks like it's off. So I guess we'll have to see if he comes down pit road. But if he does, I mean, that's going to be That's going to hurt for that team.
Yeah, currently running in the 12th position for Tim Gary, so it was going to be a nice, decent top 12 day, it looks like. But if he has to come down the pit lane, that's obviously going to ruin all that progress. But I mean, we've also seen the issues with the 21 and the 1 having to come back down pit road. They've both fallen a lap down, so could this be a similar issue with Tim Gary and the temp hospital? You know, a loose wheel, or they ran over something with a tire?
That would be 2 races in a row with multiple issues for drivers.
Yeah, I know. It's been crazy as of late, the reliability stance. But look, yeah, Tim is coming down. You can see right there. That's the pit line right there.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see if we can figure out what's going on with them. Like I said, it doesn't sound like it's off, but I mean, it could be something that we can't see or even tell by hearing with it. So, I mean, that sucks for, you know, Tim Gary and his team.
It does, to run all that way and then have it, you know, kind of just leave under the caution flag. You know, it's not even like it's under green. You have to come down here. It's under the caution flag where everything should be fine. There's a big issue on the 10 of Tim Gary, and you would think if it was a loose wheel that they probably wouldn't have had him come in if they're pacing, but unless they think it's going to go back green.
Maybe they do, but I mean, it could also maybe be a gearbox issue. Maybe he shifted.
They are changing tires, and they only changed those 2, so there was obviously an issue with the right sides.
That hurts.
It does. Look at, now he's going to have to stop here, and he'll be all the way at the back of this line, even behind, you know, some of those drivers. But that's a tough break for Tim Gary.
It very much is. But well, Joe, I think this race is a wrap. Then I think we have our a winner, assuming he can make it back as well.
Yeah, I think Riley Spurtube should lock this one up in the 28. And before we get to the check flag, because we still have a lap and a half to go in this race, and it's going to be a long pace lap, let's go check out what happened to bring out this caution to end the race. Zach DeLello and some others wreck what looks to be in the bus stop here at Watkins Glen. Well, Trey, entering the bus stop, it has been mentioned throughout the race how this is one of the more narrow parts and hard to go side by side through here. They've done it many times today, but unfortunately this one pushes the breaking point. Chung and DeLello make contact. The 23 sending the 97 off wide in this battle for the 19th position, and DeLello off into the grass and then going through the gravel. And you have to assume at this point, when he gets in the gravel, so much gravel in the tires, he can't really know where to go. He can't steer. He doesn't know where he's going. And he just clips the tire pack, which sends him spinning into the 96 of Brandon Beal. He has nowhere to go, and he clobbers him with the front of that race car. Probably some radiator damage there, and that's why Beal had to come down the pit lane. And then Yepez, I don't know if there was something on the track from where those two hit, but he went wide and kind of got off into the grass here.
Yeah, I mean, and once you're in the grass, you're kind of trying to hit the brakes, slow the car down, and I mean, he got it slowed down. It could have been a really big hit right here, but luckily it was just a little hit, and I believe he was able to continue on. But yeah, I mean, it's the bus stop. Joe, how many times have we seen cars collide throughout this race in that bus stop?
Yeah, we've seen it a few. Well, cameras have caught it a few times. I'm sure there's been more further back in the pack that we haven't caught.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was about time until something gave way, I guess you could say.
Yeah, unfortunately, it came right at the end of the race when there's not enough time to clean up the track after the accident. We'll go take a look at this wreck once again in full speed with Zach DeLello just clipping the tire pack and getting into Brandon Beal. Well, Trey, here's the same angle at it. And what is it like when you get off into the grass, you know, all this dirt on your tires, and then even gravel to add onto it?
It's scary because right here, I mean, Joe, these drivers, one, they don't really have that much time to react, and two, it's very short and narrow. So, I mean, you're just kind of hoping for the best that you don't get hit that hard. And luckily, the 97 didn't take too bad of a hit. I mean, it still probably shook him up a little bit because that was dang near head on. But it could have been a lot worse than what it was. It
could have for sure, and especially worse for Yepez, who was heading right for an angle in the wall. If he hit that head on, that could have been a very, very bad wreck. But fortunately for Riley Spurtube, that caution came at just the right time. Keegan Thompson was tracking him down the 5, and if it went green, who knows what would have happened. But it looks like it's going to be Riley Spurtube in victory lane, as it looks like we're not going to be going back green here at the Watkins Glen race in the 2001 NASCAR Winston Cup Series season. Well, Trey, the accident too much to clean up in time, and it looks like it's going to be Riley Spurtube, the winner, under the caution here at Watkins Glen. And, you know, I got to say, we have gotten lucky, you know, over the seasons here in the Winston Cup Series, not having too many races finish under yellow, but it's definitely a bummer whenever it happens.
Yeah, it does suck, but you also got to feel happy for the winner of the race, especially this team right here. I mean, Joe, you said at the beginning, they really know how to run at this track, and they finished first and fourth. So you gotta at least be happy about that.
You do, that's for sure. I mean, it's great to see Robert Yates Racing going back to victory lane here. Riley Spurgeon getting his second win of his career. First one came last season, the finale at Atlanta, as mentioned, the last lap pass there. This season, a little bit more domination for the 28 team at Watkins Glen. They brought a really good car, just like the 28 team did last season in this race. But some pit strategy ruined their shot at a good result that season. This season, pit strategy worked well. Car was better than it was last season, and the driver takes it to victory lane. Riley Spurgeon wins the Global Crossing at the Glen. What a good drive for Riley Spurgeon here today, Trey.
I mean, definitely. He made the pass for the lead during green. So,
yep.
I mean, people can say what they want about it ending a caution, but I think he deserves this one.
He does for sure. I mean, he was definitely one of the probably two fastest cars. I think he and Keegan Thompson, they're at the end, probably the two fastest cars. But at the end, Riley Spurgeon was just out front at the right time. And making that move under green, we know it's hard to do. You led every lap last season. No one could pass you, whether it be pit stops or green flag racing. So, I mean, it's not like it's easy to do that here at Watkins Glen.
No, and I mean, if you can get a win here, it's they don't ask how, Joe. They ask how many. So,
yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, you're the one with the trophy case in your, you're the one with the trophy in your trophy case.
Yeah. And as we look at the finish results, Riley Spurgeon, as mentioned, second career Winston Cup Series victory. Great to see that number 28 team back on top and another new winner in this season. Second place belongs to Keegan Thompson. So close once again to a victory yet so far, but once again he's just racking in those points. And if the start to his season was not terrible, he'd be up there in the championship fight for sure. Chris Jericho, his best race in a long time for that number 18. Third place for Jericho, probably his best race since his runner-up at Road America. So Jericho really running well at the road courses this season, and does gain some slight points back on Brett Sierra. He obviously led a lap here today. Sierra did not. He also finished 3 spots better than Sierra. So a decent day for Chris Jericho here at Watkins Glen to gain some points back and maybe just get some momentum back entering into the fall months. Fourth place for Luke Rainey, another top 5 at the road course. Great to see that, and great to see Robert Yates Racing end up with both cars inside the top 5. And then another top 5 for Jordan Stout, that 6th team, who moved up nicely from his starting spot. Brett Sierra gained 5 spots from his starting position. 6th place for him, and just limited the damage to the second in points to Chris Jericho. Roberto Crown Jr., 7th place, second straight season. That number 43 has gotten the top 10 here at Watkins Glen. Great run for Mitch Corbett, Firescar Motorsports, 8th place for him. And once again, a solid day for Richard Childress Racing. Conrad Evans 9th, Sebastian Kukulon 10th, Justin Atkins not too far down in 14th as well. So really good run once again for all 3 of the RCR cars for the second straight race. Colin Teague, his undercut played out to get a top 11, just short of the top 10, but really good day after his poor starting spot and track position. Jimmy Sterling Jr., good day. Jordan Edwards did an overcut, worked well for the 9 car. Same stretch for Matt as well, gets him in the top 15. Zedel faded outside the top 15th, and same with Fitzwater, Laura Chung back in 19th with her teammate Jay Rando. Tough break for those drivers. Some others that moved up, like Lathan Strickland moved up nicely. Ryan Wilson, Smet Oskin as well. Jose Mills started last in this race. He got 24th. So there were definitely some drivers that moved from the back to at least the mid-pack, gained some spots. So there was definitely passing towards the back of the field here at Watkins Glen. Unfortunate issues for some drivers down here. Yepez got involved in the crash in that 4. Brandon Bill, same story there. Tim Garrett, an issue under the caution, was running 12th, ended up in 39th. Jacob Boyd a lap down along with Anthony Nez, and Zachary DeLello last place out of the race because of his crash damage here at Watkins Glen. So definitely a very interesting one for sure. And the points, obviously Brett Sierra still with a pretty good sizable points lead, but Trey, Jericho's cut it down a little bit, and it was around this time last season, with about 10 races to go last season, when he started to click off really good runs, got some runner-ups here and there, got some top 5 finishes, got some more wins. So could this possibly be the time where Jericho starts to pick up another gear into the late summer and fall months?
I've learned to expect the unexpected, Joe, and
so.
I'm not gonna put my opinion of what may happen, or my guess is what I should say, because I'm just gonna let it happen, and I'll be up here in the booth with you, and we'll witness it together.
Yeah, I think it'll be less stressful than the position you were in last season when you were in the championship fight, but Jericho kind of in your position right now.
Yeah, this time around, though, I get to put my feet up on the desk and just relax, and Jericho gets to know what I felt like. And hey, I mean, we know he has the car to do it. We know he has a race-winning car. So I mean, I guess it'll just have to see if they can put the pieces together and find themselves the victory lane.
Well, now with this race complete at Watkins Glen, just 10 races left in the season, the final 10 races, and we know they're going to get pretty good with that fight for the championship still ongoing between Jericho and Brett Sierra. As we'll go racing next race, short track racing at Richmond under the lights for the Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400 trade. That's going to be a fun one. We saw earlier in the season at Richmond, Fitzwater and Collins dominated for Penske Racing, but none of them won it. So we don't know what to expect at Richmond, but it's always chaos when we go to a short track, especially under the lights.
I'm so excited for that. I think some of these drivers might have some, aggression to get out.
I think so, and you know what? I think it's gonna be fun to see because that could be a track where the point lead changes once again. So or not changes, but gets closer, and maybe some points shift different ways. So we'll see how that one goes next week on JRTV. For Trey Bardo, I'm Joe Rakowski. Congratulations once again to Riley Spurgeon and the 28 team on winning here at Watkins Glen, and tune in next week for some short track action from Richmond.